Hi there, welcome to part 2 of answering your questions on investments. Firstly, welcome to the Money Space 101. I'm Angelina Senoge, and this side we are building generational wealth together. So please do connect with us on our social media platforms, and you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, as well as Facebook using the same handle as here, which is at the Money Space 101, 101. So let's get into the video. Guys, remember with the previous video, previous to this one, I was answering the questions that you asked me on Instagram, and I did mention that the questions were really a lot, so I had to split them into 2 videos. So if you do not find the answers to your questions in the first video, then you would definitely find the answers to your question in this video. So the first question from Tandiwe says that, bought a property, do you think it is wise to ask the bank to bill me for the house weekly to cut interest? Listen, if you can afford that, most definitely do it. If you being able to have the bill weekly is something that's possible in your financial horizons, then definitely do that, because this will definitely help in reducing the interest over time. So because when you're doing this, you are lowering the principal more frequently. So just confirm with your bank or that specific bank that you used, and if you were to do this, then they won't charge any extra fees or whatsoever, because then it all then goes down to the contract that you signed when you made the loan or whatsoever. So please then just go back to the bank and consult with them if this is possible, right with them. And if then you do this, then won't that then result in you then paying some sort of extra costs or extra fees? But definitely if there's something that you can do and the bank allows it, then listen, it's really a good plan in terms of lowering the interest rates over a period of time. Another question from Cam. I have 100K. I would like to invest for higher returns. Where do I start? First and foremost, you need to start with, what are your investment goals? That's where you start. You start with, what are your investment goals? What are you trying to achieve with you investing? For instance, you have 100,000 rand. Am I investing this for the short term? Am I investing for the long term? But I am presuming because you have so much money, you would want to invest this for the long term, right? So for instance, maybe you want to invest for the next 5 years. Okay, I want to see something in this returns in the next 5 years or the next 10 years. And then after knowing that, this will then guide you in terms of what investments you are investing in. So for instance, there's a lot of investments you can invest in, right? And what is very important is that do not put your eggs into one basket, which I've said in my videos before. Don't do that. It is not wise at all. So you can consider things like your stocks, your company shares. You can consider things like ETFs. You can consider things like your tax-free savings account, right? If you are looking into the long term. Also, what type of investor are you? Do you want to invest yourself, where it is active investing, you're the one picking everything, or do you want passive investing, where someone is investing on your behalf, right? So generally, this all depends on that. Please do DM me so that I can further explain into what avenues or what steps then you can take. And the other question from Zamo is, top 5 JSE short-term stocks you think we should invest in. I never recommend investing for the short term, because as I said, the longer you wait, the better the potential returns that you will get. But then if this is something that you want to do, there's definitely no problem at all. You can also do it. It's an option. Given the platform that I use, what I also like about it, you can find this as well, where you can guide you into as to what JSE short-term stocks that a person can look into. So on Blocktock, when you go to the For You page, on the For You page, then just scroll right below, then you'll see investment strategies. The first one, it is undervalued. Then you'll see long-term investment. Then you also see short-term. So the third one, click on that one, then it will show you then the currently what are the JSE short-term investments that are shown to be doing well, right? And then you also find then the US stocks as well. So as you can see, disclaimer right there. If you're going to invest into something that is short-term, know that you're exposing yourself to a lot of risk, because generally the investment markets in the short term, they are very risky. They are very volatile. There's a lot of things happening. This is happening. The news, politics, striking. There's a lot of things happening. So if you're going to invest for the short term, you're putting yourself in a very risky situation. And hence then it's something that I would never necessarily recommend to anyone. Investing for the long term will always be better than investing for the short term. But if it is something that you want, then follow those directions as to how you can find it. Generally, I use Blocktock for that, which really helps. And if you'd like to start investing with Blocktock as well, you can find the information in the description box of this video. And another question from our fam. Yeah. Your Instagram handles, guys, they're so difficult to read. So in the essay context, how do we avoid the middle class trap? That one is very, yeah. It's a lot. Don't depend on one income. I feel like the mistake that people make generally is because, okay, fine, because I get this very good job at my company, and okay, now I'm being promoted and some of them when I get a better income. Oh, 30,000 rand looks good on paper, it's very nice. You are basically being trapped in the middle class because now you are depending on this amount. It's important then when you start working, don't just depend on one salary. Start looking into other avenues. What can I do? For instance, start investing, right? That way, then you're already creating what a second avenue of income, ensuring that you are not completely stuck to this job in the next 15 years or 20 years time. There's sort of like still something working for you in the background while you're still clocking in every morning and on the clock going to work. And another thing, you're a person that is multi-talented. For instance, you could open a business into something. So the nice thing about working is that it gives you capital. And I believe that's probably like why we work, because we want the income, right? So instead of spending your money on things that don't bring value, rather use the money that you have to invest into something that will give you more money. And that is opening a business. So it can start it being small or whatever. Then that way, then now you have three income streams, right? Then you think of other things as well. The mere fact that you're working means that you have what? You have knowledge. You have the knowledge to do what? To create content as well, if that's something that's in your avenue. I know we're not all content creators, but just find something to do with what you have and use that to your advantage. And by this, I mean make another income. Don't depend on one income. The moment you depend on your salary, you will forever be in the middle class trap. Another question from Glebo is, do you offer investment private educational programs? Yes, I do. I don't know if I'll call it a program, but it's a session. Yes, where I do offer like financial coaching sessions or investment sessions per se. And I'll be just giving you like a holistic view as to like what you can do and what so not. And if this subject would interest you, then please do DM me. Another question from Ramon is, where would you invest if you're a fresh starter? ETFs. That's where I would invest. If I'm a first starter, I do not want to do something that's going to make me feel overwhelmed. And generally, investing into like specific stocks or specific company shares, that is overwhelming because you don't know, is this a right buy? Is this a good thing? Is this a good company to invest into? So when you're buying into ETFs, then it sort of like gives that sort of like, okay, this is how this ETF is performing, and I know that I'm investing into the top whatever companies when I'm doing this. So it sort of like gives you assurance. While then in that meantime, you can start learning into investing into specific companies, and also tax-free savings account, because why are we not investing in something that's gonna make me not have to face the tax man? That's what I would invest in if I was a fresh starter. A question from Mayo. As your names are so difficult. Mayo. Yeah. I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name. Which platform or app do you use for the investment you teach us about? I use the Blocktock app because generally it is very beginner friendly. The interface very easy to use. You will find your news right there on the company. You find the tips as well, investment plans, investment strategies, which companies are giving out dividends, what are dividend yields, what are the profits of the company. So it'll really help you to be more informed as to what's going on in the investment markets. And you also find like short like articles right there telling you, okay, fine, this is what's happening and this is how it might affect these certain industries or stuff like that. So it really does help, and also has a section where it helps you to find how do you buy, how do you sell, and when do you know when to buy, when do you know when to sell, things like that. So, and also things like predictions and forecasts. As okay, fine, this is the forecast of this particular company. It is set to maybe like predicted to perform at least like over 40% in the next year. Things like that really help you to make a decision when you are investing. So that is the platform that I use. It is Blocktock app. Other question from Tabo is how to set up short-term and long-term goal-oriented investments. Okay, so I believe that the questions I've answered before, I feel like now that I'm saying this, I'm like, okay, this is something I've said before. So I hope that the answers I've given before, they do answer this as to how to set up short-term and long-term goal-oriented investments. As I showed you right there, the interface of like seeing short-term investments and long-term investments as well. So then go back to the Blocktock. I use Blocktock app. You see investment strategies. You find undervalued. You find long-term. You find the companies right there that they have. Then you also find short-term investments as well. And if you do have more questions, please do DM me, right? So we can talk further on this. And then the last question from Derry is, how easy or difficult is it for a non-South African to invest in South African companies? Honestly, guys, from the videos that I've done before, I found that a lot of people are not able to invest through like in SA companies from the countries that are in, especially African countries. I don't know why this is. I think it has something to do with like the regulations that of the country that you are in, where they have sort of like made it a bit more difficult for you guys to invest into other countries outside that country. So I can't really speak on this because I don't know what's going on in the financial regulations, or I don't know the person's asking me from which country are you speaking this from. But generally, there are apps or platforms that you can search into in your country. Just ask around as to like can I invest in South African companies from the specific country. That's the end of the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am so sorry if I was rushing through the questions at some point because I'm looking at the time and I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't want this to go, it's very long, but I really hope I was able to answer your questions. And if you have any questions and you feel like you need more clarification, please do comment down below. I will answer your question right there in the comment section. And please don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell to receive notification from us when we do release a new video. And you know what I always say, see you on the flip side of wealth. Bye.